Hey everyone, how's it going? Today, let's take an up-close and personal, in-depth look at the all-new 2014 Toyota Highlander Limited all-wheel drive. And this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the Highlander. We'll start it up so the engine, get an exhaust clip and go over the performance data, as well as show you a bunch of the unique aspects of the interior as well as exterior.
And before we begin, I'd like to extend a big thanks and special shout out to Rice Toyota Scion, located in Greensboro, North Carolina, for allowing me to come out and film the all-new 2014 Toyota Highlander Limited all-wheel drive.
And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up, let her run. Now this Highlander features Toyota's Smart Key Access System, a touch-sensitive base system that allows you to lock and unlock the vehicle without having to use the key fob. All you have to do is just make sure it's on you, like in your pocket or something, and locate the ribbed portion on both the driver and passenger side door handles to lock. Just tap. The vehicle beeps once, indicates it's locking, then after waiting a second just grab the handle, there's a touch sensor behind it, and two beeps indicate unlocking. Now the exterior color is a dark metallic red known as Moulin Rouge mica with a premium almond perforated leather interior. It also features jet black accenting across the dash and the doors with subtle touches of dark brown in the door panels and a slender strip in the dash. The seats themselves also feature dark brown color accent stitching. Now, along with that Smart Key Access System, the Limited also features a standard remote push-button ignition system. All you have to do to start is just put your foot on the brake and hit the dash-mounted button to go.
The Highlander features electric assist, rack and pinion power steering, and in this limited model features a soft, supple leather-wrapped 3-spoke steering wheel with some satin silver accenting towards the bottom of the airbag cover and highlighting your black multifunction controls across the top 2 spokes. Heavier grips up top give it a little bit more of a sportier feel, while faux stitching across the airbag cover and the dash give it a little bit more of a premium feel. For 2014, the Highlander's standard and only transmission option is a 6-speed automatic fed through a leather gear selector in the center console. Once you put it into drive, you do have manual shifting ability by clicking it to the left and pushing it up to go up gear and back to go down a gear. You do have a standard backup camera in all trim levels with projected path, but in the upper trim levels like this one, you do have dynamic grid lines.
And so we're going to flip on the automatic projector headlamps, fog lamps, as well as the hazards. Now, all 4 windows on this Highlander are fully automatic, but they have a nice little feature that I've only noticed in some Lexus vehicles that really aid to the overall refined feeling of the interior. When you roll the windows down and pull them up, the glass slows up ever so slightly when it gets to the bottom and the top. You'll notice it more when it's closing. It makes a nice quiet transition as the glass closes and doesn't make a loud thud or anything like that. Nice and quiet. So, let's go and check out the exterior, shall we? The vehicle will also chime a few times, letting you know it's lost detection of the proximity key fob.
The original Highlander first debuted for 2001 as the crossover counterpart to the Toyota 4Runner. Largely based on the front-wheel drive platform of the Toyota Camry at the time, this vehicle set up to 5 people, was available with all-wheel drive, and even had a hybrid counterpart at one point. Providing the room of a small SUV with car-like ride quality is the essential cornerstones of the highly popular crossover segment. For 2014, the Highlander enters its 3rd generation with a complete redesign. Everything from the styling to its dimensions and interior accommodations have been taken up a notch without losing the original hallmarks of the past 2 generations. The most dramatic change outside is the design, boasting a lot more SUV-like toughness than before thanks to its large, wide-mouthed grille, wraparound headlamps, and prominent chrome grille surrounds. The fog lamps below are pushed towards the edges, and combine that with the upright grille, it gives the greater sense of height and width, which in reality really hasn't changed a whole lot over last year. The Highlander Limited features the largest wheel options of the lineup, consisting of 19 by 7.5 inch Chrome Tech aluminum alloy wheels, wrapped in 245/55 all-season Bridgestone Dueler tires. 4-wheel disc brakes with ABS, traction and stability control are standard and can bring the Highlander to a stop from 60 miles an hour in as little as 116 feet. The suspension is also fully independent with McPherson struts in front and a double wishbone setup in the rear. Properly equipped, the Highlander can haul up to 1,455 pounds of payload and tow upwards of 5,000 pounds. If traveling on steep grades, the approach angle is 18 degrees while the departure angle is 23.1 degrees. Your spare tires also mounted underneath the rear of the vehicle. The new sheet metal continues around and looks more defined across the sides thanks to flared wheel arches, lower side scallops, and upper beltline edge that traces across the doors. The rear carries a more masculine theme that works well with the front with slender tail lamps and a roof-mounted spoiler. As far as the optional all-wheel drive system, it actually works in the background, automatically detecting wheel slip and adjusting accordingly. If needed, it can send up to 50% of the available torque to the rear wheels, otherwise the vehicle primarily operates as a front-wheel drive configuration. While it may look much larger than the second generation, dimensional changes are modest. Length grows by 2.7 inches, while width grows by 0.6 inches. These slight increases, combined with better utilization of interior passenger space, yields a much more accommodating interior than before, especially for the third-row passengers. Weight increases ever so slightly, but it's still kept in check thanks to a greater use of lighter-weight, high-strength steel, which also helps aid in chassis stiffness. Other improvements include interior noise isolation, with greater amounts of sound deadening, acoustic laminated windshield, and more. Another new feature for parents is Driver Easy Speak. Utilizing the upper console microphone and activating a setting within the infotainment system, it'll project your voice to the rear speakers so you don't have to shout to kids in the back. Think of it as a built-in intercom, if you will. Overall length is 191.1 inches with a width of 75.8 inches and a height of 70.1 inches. Total curb weight, depending on how equipped, is around 4,578 pounds.
So we're gonna pop the hood.
The base LE comes standard with a 2.7-liter 4-cylinder that produces 185 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque, with miles per gallon between 20 city and 25 on the highway. For more power and drivetrain flexibility, I suggest stepping up to this all-aluminum, dual-overhead cam 24-valve 3.5-liter V6, with a compression ratio of 10.8 to 1 and a red line of 6,300 RPM. It's standard on all trim levels except optional for the LE. It produces a respectable 270 horsepower and 248 pound-feet of torque. This translates to 0 to 60 times of 7.5 seconds and quarter-mile times of 15.4 seconds at 91 miles an hour. While standard is front-wheel drive, the V6 can also be had with all-wheel drive. As far as fuel economy, with a 19.2-gallon tank and running on regular 87-octane gas, expect a rating between 20 city and 24 on the highway for the V6. The Highlander of recent years has always had an attractive, well-appointed interior, but with the 2014 redesign, the interior is perhaps the biggest departure as far as the materials, technology, and overall refinement. For starters, the all-new styling is more formal and modern than before, with clever uses of storage and alternative color schemes, not to mention padded material on every touchpoint that gives off a certain vibe reminiscent of Lexus. The two-tone color schemes with a matte wood finish and satin silver accenting, not to mention the brown padded trim across the doors, two-person memory, and all of your power locks, power windows, and mirrors are located on the door, amongst a storage with 2 water bottle holders. As we continue on inside, you don't have necessarily sporty bucket seats, but they do have a little bit of lateral grip across the sides. Their forte is primarily comfort, with 2-way power lumbar adjustment as well as a power thigh extension in this particular model amongst your standard power adjustments. Brown color accent stitching, as well as the perforated sections across the middle for the heating and ventilated function of the seats. You do have adjustable seatbelts, adjustable headrests, and of course, standard side airbags. Continuing on down below, you do have an aluminum scuff plate, logoed floor mats, standard knee airbags, and a telescoping steering wheel. On the upper trim levels, you do have standard blind spot monitoring rear crosspath detection, while the Highlander also across the board has the standard Toyota Star safety systems. Your windshield de-icer, parking sensors, and power liftgate are located to the left-hand side, whereas you do have an optional sunroof or a panoramic sunroof option.
Still, let's go ahead and see if she sounds. So we're going to shut her up.
This Limited features the top-line in-tune premium audio group with navigation and app suite, containing 12 JBL Green Edge speakers, 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system, and multimedia flexibility from standard satellite radio, Bluetooth, HD radio, MP3 compatibility including iPod, as well as more. For a closer look at how the in-tune system works, please click the link in the annotation below or in the description box below to be taken to a 2014 Toyota Corolla S. Overall, they're pretty much identical in their functionality, except the Highlander has some touch-sensitive buttons on either side of the screen.
Cloth-lined A-pillars, grip handles up top that gradually go back, as well as padded visors with vanity mirrors that are also illuminated. Your rear view mirror is also auto-dimming. In your top stack, it houses your microphone for the hands-free Bluetooth telephone, 3-position garage home link, as well as your interior illumination, reading lamps, padded sunglass container, as well as a little mirror so you can keep track on the back passengers. Not to mention the controls for your fully automatic sunroof. There's also a little window deflector that'll pop up. Now the Highlander makes pretty good use of its storage space overall, and I'll show you some other aspects in just a second. But what looks like a pretty cool styling cue in the dash is actually a big storage compartment that carries the entire length of the dash to the other side, big enough that you could fit your entire hand into. The Limited also features a tri-zone electronic automatic climate control system with independent temperature adjustments for the driver, passenger, and the rear passengers, front and rear defrost with heated side view mirrors, recycling, controlling the rear temperature up here, changing the different zones, fan speed, and syncing both sides. As we continue down the center console, you have 2 adjustable cup holders accented in subtle chrome, as well as 3-stage heated and ventilated seats for both the driver and passenger. In front here, you have your traction control, snow mode, downhill assist, as well as your locking differential. Continuing across the center console, and more storage space becomes evident. Full, padded center console that also has the faux stitching coming across the edges. All you have to do is just press it and slide it open. Now, it's one continuous big storage compartment with an adjustable tray down below, as well as a 12-volt power outlet. But you don't have to open the whole thing if you don't want to. It's separated for a reason. You can just undo that and stick something in there if you'd like. That small bit of brown accenting is coming across the top portion, surrounding the digital clock in the middle. And you also have the matte finished wood underneath the silver trim on the passenger side. As far as the steering wheel, on the left-hand side are your radio controls, hands-free telephone, and voice commands.
How may I help you?
Help.
To use this speech recognition system, press the push-to-talk button on your steering wheel and say a command that is natural. Here are some things you can do with this system. Get directions to an address. Find points of interest like restaurants and movie theaters. Play your music. Listen to the radio. Make a call. Read and send text messages. View weather and traffic conditions. At any point, you can say back, start over, or cancel, and help is always available as well.
Cancel.
Canceled.
It's quite a pleasant voice and easy system to use. It really just shows you how intuitive and easy these voice recognition systems have gotten over the years. The right side features a driver information system. It's located in the high-res digital display in between the speedometer cluster. Now, it packs a lot of information, not only your driver info system, but navigation and radio data, as well as vehicle alerts and customizable settings. Using the little directional arrow, you can go back and forth between the different menus and sub-menus. So, instantaneous fuel economy, all-wheel drive, having it blank, go into your navigation, music, alerts, and then the vehicle settings. There's also a back button, and this one returns you to the main one, which is your information screen. It also shows the outside temperature and what gear you're in. The gauges themselves are also quite neat. You have temperature to the left and vehicle fuel off to the right. The gauges themselves are beautiful. If you didn't catch it earlier, the gradual LED rings that surround it really look cool at night. I wish I was actually filming at night so I can show it to you. A nice, elegant touch. Your cruise control is in the stalk down below, intermittent wipers and rear wiper, as well as your lighting and turn signals. I touched over those switches a little earlier, whereas the two different knobs in the speedometer cluster correspond to your brightness, as well as your trip computer. A beautifully designed and overall very refined feeling interior. So, let's go and shut her down. And we'll check out the back seat, shall we? The Lexus-like interior quality definitely carries on to the rear as well, making the rear seat an extremely inviting and comfortable space to be in. Across the doors, you also have the tricolor theme, with the matte finished wood, jet black, dark brown in the middle, and the rest almond. Storage down below with a water bottle holder, and rear seat passengers also have manual sunshades. Now, the standard Highlander can seat upwards of 8 people, 3 in the back, 3 in the middle, and 2 up front, but the Limited comes standard with captain's chairs in the middle, so occupancy drops to 7. They're also wonderfully comfortable and wrapped in the perforated leather, not to mention trimmed in the brown color accent stitching. All-weather entry steps, pockets in the front of the seats for storage, and a part of a Platinum package, you can also opt for heated rear seats. Toyota really did a wonderful job with creating an inviting and comfortable interior for passengers, especially in the back seat when you're taking a family on a longer vacation. Hopping in and out is no problem for people around 6 feet, with a nice tall opening and wide doors. The doors in the back also have that solid closing feel that you find in the front, and really are a good example of the overall build quality of the interior, which is outstanding. I've mentioned that a few times already, but the interior could easily pass for near Lexus grade in my opinion. I mean, with the soft leathers, the soft material across the door panels, it's just such a more refined, more expensive feeling vehicle than the overall price reflects. I mean, just as an example, I filmed a 2014 Sequoia Platinum, the sticker for $65,000. Obviously that one's targeted to a different type of buyer and everything like that, and it's got a V8. Just taking all that kind of stuff aside, comparing build quality for the money that you're spending, this is actually a whole lot better than that. And it's like 23 grand cheaper. It's astounding. It just goes to show you how models are improving over the years and how refined a lot of things are getting. Now, the Sequoia will move into the lineup as well, just like all the others, but you really have to respect the craftsmanship going into vehicles these days. It's quite impressive. As far as overall comfort and interior space, I'm around 5'10", 5'11" or so, with a comfortable seating position for someone of my height up front. I probably have a good, I don't know, a good 5-6 inches of headroom, just a guesstimate, and at least 6 inches, maybe half a foot of legroom. So there's no problem at all with the open space, feeling like you can stretch out a little bit. There's no hardware under the seat really, so you can stick your feet up under there. There's no hump in the middle, so you can stick your leg out over there. So really, this is quite a relaxing place to be. These middle row seats also slide. By grabbing the little bar underneath, you can pull them forward or backward, so longer-legged individuals can get a little bit more comfortable. I'll show you in just a second a little bit more how that affects the back seat. The seats themselves are also comfortable. There's not a whole lot of lateral support coming across the sides. These aren't necessarily bucket seats. The front seats have a little bit more definition as far as that's concerned, but back support's pretty good. I could ask for just a teensy-weensy bit more lumbar, but overall, it's comfortable. And it definitely helps that this vehicle has armrests in the middle. I love having armrests when you have captain's chairs. Across the middle here, you also have a fold-out tray. It'll lock in place so you can store some stuff and have 2 adjustable cup holders. Just release it by this handle if you needed someone to walk through or just to put some extra stuff. I think this vehicle can also have a Blu-ray disc player in the back as well for rear seat entertainment. You do have reading lamps, air vents up top, coat hooks, and grip handles. Your automatic climate control is located here. You have a power outlet down there, 12 volt, as well as a 100 watt AC outlet. It's the ones that have the 2 prongs instead of the 3, so anything that has one of the grounded plugs, you have to have an adapter for it. Definitely nice. I'm very impressed with this interior overall. So let's go ahead and hop in the back seat real fast. It's a little tighter getting in for taller people. You're going to want to put up these headrests for better comfort and put them down for better visibility. There's also speakers mounted in the tailgate so everybody can be immersed in the sound even all the way back here. Now, like I showed you, the middle row seats are able to slide back and forth. They're adjustable, but if they come all the way back, that pretty much eliminates all of your leg room back here. So if there's somebody sitting in the middle here, try to find a middle ground between the two. As far as comfort though, I would say the back seat is doable for someone around 6 feet or so, but not necessarily the most comfortable. So most often, in my opinion, I think children and smaller individuals are going to sit back here. But headspace is probably about an inch extra or so, and leg space, like I said, it depends on the people up front. There are 4 cup holders back here, as well as some cargo tie downs. 2 cup holders here, 2 cup holders there, and a seatbelt holder there, so you can clip it away and not get tangled on it as you're getting out of the vehicle. What's also nice is that the back row also has reading lamps and air vents. In order to gain access to the back seat, there's actually a lever on the inside portion here that you would lift up. It'll fold forward and slide the seat forward with ease, as such. Then using that little handy step-up platform makes it easy to get into the back. In order to fold the seats down for more cargo space, you want to first grab this lever. It'll come forward a little bit, and then grab this second one. They're labeled 1 and 2. It automatically tumbles flat for a flat loading space.
A power liftgate is standard on all Highlander models aside from the base LE. There's also a jam protection feature which automatically stops movement if it detects an object either upon opening or closing. As far as cargo space, behind the third row seat, the Highlander has up to 13.8 cubic feet of cargo space, just enough for any day-to-day tasks. But for a little bit more flexibility, you can pull the straps and fold the rear seats down. This expands the space upwards of 42.3 cubic feet. But for maximum storage, fold down the middle row seat to double it to 83.7 total cubic feet of cargo space. Enough to tackle any large task. Underneath the floor, you have a little cargo well as well as your jack storage, whereas your spare tire is located underneath the rear of the vehicle.
Pulling the seats back up are also really easy. You just grab these little straps right here, pull them forward. They actually have a little bit of Velcro on them, so they won't flap around when you're driving. Like I said, for better rear seat space, if you need to recline them, you can just pull these again and draw them back. The passenger seat also has similar adjustments that you find on the driver's seat, only it doesn't have the extra power lumbar or power thigh support. It also has a lockable glove box down below with a good amount of space. It comes down a little low, so you might want to watch your legs if it's dropping down.
For those of you not needing a big-bodied V8 rear-wheel drive body-on-frame SUV, the Highlander is a wonderful choice to consider if you're hauling around a larger family. The interior is roomy, it's quite comfortable, and the build quality is superb, not to mention a nice list of standard and optional features and plenty of safety equipment.
Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the all-new 2014 Toyota Highlander Limited. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.